Go ahead, Nick.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, Justin, and congratulations on the incredible career you've had.
Thank you. Thank you.
I believe you want to start with a few words before we open up to questions. Folks, if you do have any questions, please use the raise hand function. Thank you so much for joining us, Justin, and congratulations on the incredible career you've had.
Thank you. Thank you.
I believe you want to start with a few words before we open up to questions.
Sorry, guys, we had some technical difficulties over here. I'll go ahead and get started. I just wanted to open up the floor before we get into questions. I want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone who reached out on social media yesterday, all the wonderful messages that I got. I'm not a big social media guy, but I know that's the way it goes these days. So I didn't post anything or anything like that, but I didn't want people to mistake that for me not caring. You know, I've formed a special relationship with all of the fans here. There's way too many posts to respond to, but I'm forever grateful. I just think that it's funny and kind of a fool's errand when I see players, you know, trying to sum up decades of work of their careers in a social media post. And so I didn't want to do that. I felt like it was much better to have a personal conversation. So hopefully I can do that a little bit with you here today. I also want to say thank you to my closest people that got me here. You know, I think if there was anything that was going to make me tear up today, it's not leaving the game. It's talking about my parents and what they've done to get me here today. You know, they brought me in to this world in a tough situation, made a very difficult decision at the young age that they decided to have me. And they've just been incredible role models for me. And I wouldn't be here today without them, you know, driving me all across the city of Cleveland, driving me all over the United States of America. The things that I put you through were just absolutely crazy. And so I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited that you guys get to share this day with me and this journey that we've been on together. My sister included in that as well. I drove her all the way across the country. She's been out to way too many soccer games to count. And so thank you to her. And I'm excited to see what your journey lies ahead for you. And thank you to all my coaches, you know, from the youngest ages in Cleveland, playing club soccer to high school and college. Those years were so formative for me growing up as a man, winning state championships, playing at Notre Dame, playing in the Big East, all these experiences I wouldn't have been here today without, and really becoming a worldly man and a well-rounded man. Those are the things that I take away from my high school and college years. And then as a young professional, thank you to my coaches and all throughout my professional career who have, you know, invested their time in me and helped me get to where I am today. There's way too many to list. I'm not gonna try, but thank you guys. You guys know who you are, and I'm looking forward to sharing dinners and sharing this game from the other side as a fan with you all. And then finally, the last thing I'd like to say before we jump into questions, just the timing of the announcement. I don't want anyone to think that this is coming on the heels of results. This is something that I put a lot of thought into. It's actually something that I came to a conclusion during the off season this past year when I was going through free agency. You know, had the chance to maybe move on to a different club, signed more guaranteed years and set my family up, or to stay here for one more year. And I wasn't going to move anywhere. You know, my family loves it here. I've grown so close to this club. We've had a great team. I wanted a chance to win more trophies. Obviously the year hasn't gone this way, but I've always planned out to go this way. So for me, it's a very special moment, a moment that I've been looking forward to. I'm looking forward to sharing these next 2 months and battling hard on the field and saying proper goodbyes to all the fans and everyone at the club. So with that, I will open up the questions.
Thank you, Justin. We'll get going with Neil Davidson of the Canadian Press.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, Justin. Nice to see you.
Hey, Neil.
I know your career is not over yet, but let me congratulate you on a stellar career and thank you for being such a gentleman in your dealings with us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Toronto FC. Can you tell us? I know your focus will be on the rest of the season, but you have a whole life ahead of you. Do you have any idea of what you would like to do? Will you stay in soccer, stay with TFC? I mean, you've proven to be a leader on and off the field. What lies ahead?
Man, there's so much for me ahead, so many opportunities. I came to this decision knowing that, you know, my light is starting to shine brighter off the field than it is on the field right now. And with that comes a lot of joy. I know that I want to make this world a better place. I haven't decided which way is the best way to do that yet. Maybe it's politics, maybe it's nonprofits, maybe it's running a big company, but I know I want to start with helping this club win. You know, I want to stay around. I want to stay in Toronto. This club is so meaningful to me. You know, it's close to my heart. I've had some positive conversations, and so hopefully it can work out and I get to stay. I think it would be amazing if I was sitting in the stands when Toronto FC wins the next MLS Cup, knowing that I helped contribute from a different position than I did before. That's what this club deserves, to be on the top, and I want to help get us there.
Thank you for everything.
We'll go next to Steve Buffery.
Hi, Justin. Yeah, I want to repeat what Neil said. You're a great guy to deal with, and congratulations on your great career and that kind of thing.
Thank you.
You mentioned staying around in Toronto. Have you talked specifically with the club about maybe moving into the front office, or you mentioned some other directions you might want to go? Have you sort of reached out? I know you're in the middle of the season, but have you sort of reached out to any companies or anything like that? And why? And you said about staying in Toronto. Was that definitely something you've been thinking about for a while?
Yeah, definitely want to stay here. I love living here. My family's all settled. You know, my kids were both born here. It's been a joy to be here. And so I've had positive conversations with the club, and like I said, hopefully we figure it out. But if not, I'll be here in Toronto to enjoy everything that this has to offer with you guys.
We'll jump next to John Molinaro.
Thanks, Nick. This is going to sound boring, but again, like my two predecessors, thanks for everything, Justin. You've been tremendous to deal with, and it's been greatly appreciated. You know, when you came to Toronto, it was a very different club. It was on the back of 7 seasons where they hadn't sort of reached the playoffs, and you were leaving a San Jose team who, in 2012, were Supporters Shield champions. So I'm just wondering, when you were traded, what did you think about coming to Toronto? What was your honest reaction, and did you have any idea that it would turn out as well as it did?
I had no idea. I have the famous story of getting traded here a couple of days before my wedding in December of 2013. And I remember being on the call thinking, my God, how am I going to tell my fiance that we're moving to Toronto? And then I thought about the way that Toronto FC has been run as a football club during that time. And I was afraid. I was afraid for my career. And it's been the biggest blessing of my life to get traded here, not only to be in the city, but to be a part of this club and to go through everything that we've gone through together. So for me, it's a dream come true, really. And I've taken so many lessons from these past 8 years on top of the 4 years that I had in San Jose, that maybe I wouldn't have had I gone to another club. So was definitely timid when it happened, skeptical, but happy to be a part of the turnaround that happened here and gotten us to the heights that we achieved.
We'll go next to James Grossi.
Thanks, Nick. Hello, Justin. I'm sure while mulling over a decision like this, you've done a lot of reflecting on the career that lays behind you. I'm wondering what some of those favorite moments are, some of the ones that you'll carry with you always.
For me, it's just the special nights that we've had at BMO, and it wasn't just the nights where we were winning trophies. It was the nights where there was real energy in the city. You know, I always think it's amazing when we play on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, and we have 26,000 people in the stands. I think it's amazing when we're out there in freezing cold weather and there's fans out there. That's special. You know, I feel a real affinity for our fans because they understand the sport. They understand football. And that's not so at every club. You know, it's still a growing sport in North America, and fans don't always get it right. And this league is growing. Well, I think we got it right here in Toronto FC. So to be in front of those fans on the nights when we qualified for the playoffs for the first time. You know, I still remember the cheer going through the crowd. I'll never forget that. And the goal that Seba scored against New York Red Bull, like that was a really special moment. Obviously the home game that we played Montreal here in 2016, the conference final second leg, you know, it's hard to top that night and the twists and turns that went through that. Probably one of the greatest playoff series ever in Major League Soccer history. So to be on that field that night, the rain, the fans were just unbelievable, and that's someone that I hold in high regards. And then MLS Cup 2017, winning the trophy in front of our fans. There's nothing better than to win the championship in your home stadium in front of your own fans.
We'll go next to Eric Giacometti.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Yeah, Justin, yeah, congrats on everything and the career that you've built, echoing a lot of what everyone else has said. But I'm just curious, you've touched on this a little bit in your past questions, but you know, you come to Toronto as one person, and now, you know, you're, I think, a different person now at the tail end of your career. Can you just kind of describe what the city has meant to you as you've raised a family here, as you've won trophies, as you've become an executive director of the Black Players for Change? Just what has the city of Toronto meant for you during all of that process?
I mean, the city has meant so much to me. I feel like we've grown together, and it's a part of me now. I hope to be staying here a lot longer with my family. I don't know where this life is going to take me, so maybe at one point we'll move away, but I consider it home now just as much as I consider anything else home. I feel that my values are connected with the values of this city. Very worldly. It gives me great joy to see all the different types of people that we have here and the way that we care for each other, but also the way that they love their sports. You know, that's something that's been near and dear, and something that I've lived day in and day out for the past 8 years, and something that you can't take away from us. I think these fans have been through the thick and the thin. They've been with us through the bad times and the good times, and that's something special. That's equity that you build up over a lot of years, and something that I'm happy to be a part of.
We'll jump next to Michael Singh.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, Justin. And of course, what everyone else has been saying, just congratulations on everything. I got to ask you about, sort of like your recent venture in terms of, you know, what the role you've played with the Black Players for Change Association. Just how important has that been to you, and did that motivate you at all to kind of move off the field now?
Yeah, I would just say that the amount of work that I've done in the past 2 years is probably unsustainable. You know, I was literally working multiple jobs on top of, you know, trying to be there for my family. That's not the reason why I'm retiring, but to keep on with that pace would have been very difficult. And what I've learned is a new journey, a new struggle, a new battle with people off the field. I think what I'll miss most about being a professional athlete is the locker room, the camaraderie that's there. Going through struggle together, you can't replicate that, I don't think. But it is something that I found in Black Players for Change, you know, fighting with my peers off the field towards a common goal. There is a lot of joy in that. And so I want to continue to make this world a better place. Like I said, I think that we have a lot of work to do in a lot of different areas, but I want to dedicate my life to that. I think that looks a lot of different ways, and I haven't exactly figured that out yet, but it's something that I have my mind set on.
Next up, we have Giancarlo Aulino.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, Justin. Congrats on a great career. You know, you're going to be a player now. A lot of people are going to go to for advice, and rightfully so, based on the career you had. Just curious, if you were to see that young Justin Morrow come in from Cleveland, the aspiring professional, and he would ask advice, and to you walking in the room, the established one that sits in front of us today, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I feel that truly I have a winning mentality, and that's the reason why I've gotten as far as I have and have been able to play as long as I have. The thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that the way I reached this decision was also a family decision. Being a winner is a lifestyle. Being a champion is a lifestyle. It's 24/7. It's not something that you stop when you walk off the training field, when you walk out of BMO training ground or BMO field. My family has felt that at times over my career. So my beautiful wife that has been standing with me from day one in this journey, I'm ready to be her champion. I'm ready to be the champion at home and help them. But to any young player out there, you really have to have that mindset that it's everything. It's the way you breathe, the way you eat, what you're thinking about when you're off the field, and that will carry you to the top. It'll help you get very far, and it'll be your guiding light, and no matter on the field or off the field. So for me, that's the advice I would give them.
We'll go back to Neil Davidson next.
Thanks, Nick. Justin, it seems like you're opening a door rather than closing one, which is very positive. I wonder, could you just share your emotions in coming to the decision?
Just joy. I feel so blessed to have had the career that I've had. I've always been a guy that's thought about what's next. When I was growing up, I was just talking about this in the locker room with somebody because they're asking like, how do you know? When I was growing up, I never thought that I would play over a decade of professional sports. I was never a guy that was in the youth national teams or like this major prospect or anything like that. I was just set on making it pro, and I wanted to experience that. Everything else has just been, the cherry on top for me. And I feel so blessed to have lived it. I remember after my second year of playing professional, I wasn't playing that much. And I was decided, I was like, all right, this is it for me. I'm done. I'm going to go do other things because I had a lot of good stuff going on off the field. I'm glad I didn't quit. I stuck with it, but that's just to say, like, I've always been thinking about what's next. And so for me, it's very much a feeling like I'm glad that happened and I'm ready for the next thing. Like I said, my family's ready. I'm full of hope and joy of bringing other things to this world. And it really does feel like opening a new opportunity, a new door for me. And I'll take all of these good memories. I'll keep them with me. I'll use them for the betterment of whatever I'm doing next. And all the lessons that I've learned and all these friendships that I've grown out of this. It's a lot to take with me, and I'm happy that I did it.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Steve Buffrey next.
Justin, you said you didn't decide to retire because of the difficulties of this season for your club, but how tough has it been on you personally from a player standpoint? Because, you're a veteran, you've won all the trophies, and a lot of times coaches and players who have been around for a while don't want to be around when a team decides to rebuild or whatever. But given that, how difficult of a season, or even last two seasons for that matter, given the troubles with the team and on the field and COVID, how difficult has that been?
I think for me, I've had a different lens on it because I did know going into the season that it was going to be my last. And, when you write out your goals before the season, that was actually at the top of my list to enjoy it no matter what happens. I've never had a season like this before. So for me, I take lessons out of everything. When you're at the top, when you're at the bottom, I use it as stepping stones. I use it as lessons for life. And to go through this battle, to go through this struggle has been new for me. So I feel that I'm growing as a person because of it. I've been the guy that I felt have come in here every day and tried to be a good veteran, try to help study the ship, whatever was happening around here, whether it was, the good times or the chaos or whatnot. I've tried to just be a role model that comes in and works hard and tries to make everyone better every day. And so for me, it's just been something new, and it hurts because of the things that we've lived here in the past with this club, but also I've been taking it as a lesson and just trying to help out as much as I can. And so for me, I'm just soaking in every single minute. And yeah, maybe it's bittersweet to go out like this, but it's also something else that I have in my back pocket as a lived life experience that I can lean on when I'm going through other tough times when this is all said and done. And there's still 2 months to play. There's a lot of games out there left for us. There's a trophy out there left for us to fight for. So I'm looking forward to strapping up and going to battle again. If you're in a war, I'm the guy that you want next to you. Like I'm going through it no matter what, and I'm fighting till my legs fall off, till my arms fall off, to the very last day.
Go next to John Molinaro.
Thanks, Nick. Justin, along with, certainly other players, you played, I would suggest, a major role in helping to turn this, team around compared to what it was like when you got here. To go from, that sort of struggling side into a league superpower, it took a lot of work. I'm just wondering for you, how challenging was that turnaround to get TFC, turn it from point A to point B into, a model franchise?
It's changed for me. I think in the beginning, it was all about maximizing myself and what I brought to the table. And then maybe towards the back end, it was about growing into a leader, helping out those around me, and trying to diagnose the problem as they came in a bigger sense. I felt in the beginning there was still a lot for me to learn and develop as a player. And I'm just thankful that I got to do that with some of the players and the coaches that we have had here over my time at the club. And I felt like once I got myself to a place where I was performing at my best day in and day out, that I was really helping to the team, then it kind of switched towards like, okay, who else can I help out around here? How can I help us achieve our goals as a whole and as a leader? It wasn't easy. That's for sure. And I think that what's unspoken is that even in the best of times, when we were winning, in 2016 and 2017, it took a lot of work for us to stay up there and to complete the seasons the way that we did. And the pressure that comes in those moments is just as much as the pressure that comes in the moments when the team's not doing well. And for me, that was a big lesson as well. So it wasn't easy, that's for sure, but something that I enjoyed, and I enjoyed doing it with the people in this building.
Thank you. And our final 2 questions here will be with Eric Giacometti, followed by Michael Singh. Go ahead, Eric.
Thanks, Nick. Justin, you alluded to it earlier, but despite the difficult league campaign, there is still a trophy out there to be won in the Canadian Championship, one that you've already won 3 times in your time at TFC. How much of is that a piece of motivation for you to go out with a piece of silverware, one that's really important for the fans in the club?
Oh, it's huge motivation. I've been a part of a group that has won a lot of trophies here. Even last year, being in the final of what would have been the Canadian Championship and not getting to play that, like I'm itching for the chance to play for another trophy in front of our fans here again. And it would be a great way to have a bright spot in the season that we've had. And for me personally, to go out lifting that trophy in front of our fans, I know it would mean a lot to both of us, right? So it's something that I'm looking forward to. It's something that the team is looking forward to as well.
Cool. I'll go now. Hey, Justin.
Right.
So yeah, just looking back at the career a little bit, and now that you've announced that retirement, do you think you can pinpoint 1 or 2 things that you'll miss most about being a player here for Toronto FC?
I'll miss, like I said, the camaraderie in the locker room, being with the guys, going through the good times and the bad times. There's just nothing like it, or nothing that I have experienced like it. And then I'll miss playing at BMO Field. I'll miss being in front of our wonderful fans. I still think it's the best place in Major League Soccer to play a football match. They bring incredible energy, and I love playing right in the middle of the city. I love the way our stadium is set up, and I love the way our fans come out. So for me, that's going to be missed. But I'm looking forward to being in the stadium still, looking forward to enjoying the game as a fan, you know, and enjoying the game from the other side, because it's still something that's deep in my heart. I don't think that I'll work in soccer forever, but it's something that will always be a part of me. And I think sometimes more than other players, like I'm a huge fan of this game, and I watch a lot of football outside of Major League Soccer. I watch a lot of the Major League Soccer games, and I'm excited, and I will always be a true fan of Toronto FC.
Thank you very much, Justin. You're all done here. We have no more questions. Congrats once again.
All right. Thanks, everybody.